Ladies and gentlemen, our next bout of the evening pits two undefeated fighters head to head. Someone's O has to go. This bout is brought to you by Lou DiBella's DiBella Entertainment, Azad Watches, and the Underground Clown. It is scheduled for 6 rounds of action in the welterweight division. Judges ringside, Larry Hazard Jr., Julie Letterman, and John McKay. Your referee, Gabriel Bracero. Introducing first, to my left, boxing out of the blue corner. He wears black. Official weight, an even 140 pounds. His professional record, a perfect one. 6 victories, 2 of them coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, from Rochester, New York, Winston, the Rochester Reaper, Mathis. And his opponent across the ring, boxing out of the red corner. He wears red and blue. Official weight, 141 pounds. His professional record, a perfect 8 victories with no defeats. From Brooklyn, New York, Gabriel Tito Bracero.
Hey, Gabriel. Okay, Gabriel, Winston, I give you specific detailed instructions in the locker room. I'm only going to tell you 2 things. Protect yourselves at all times, and most importantly, obey my commands at all times. Trunks here good, trunks here good. Touch gloves, bang at the bell. Do it up.
Gary Rosado's the referee. Tail the tape, Steve.
Well, the numbers here are very similar between these two. Just something to point out. Charles Murray, former junior welterweight champion of the world, is the chief second in Winston Mathis's corner.
Can't hurt. And the rules as conventional as they come. We get ready for our 6-rounder, first fight of the night here. No standing 8 can't be saved by the bell any round. Gary Rosado, referee, and here in the black, 2 undefeateds. In the black, Winston Mathis, and Brooklyn's Gabriel Bracero. Bracero in the Puerto Rican colors comes forward. He's definitely more of a boxer. 8 wins, no stoppages. He's really pumping the jab now. Mathis tells us he's all about pressure, but it's a smart aggression, it looks like here. He's very leery.
I'm talking to Tommy Gallagher before the fight. He knows Winston Mathis. You know, he said he's been up in Rochester. He has seen him in the gym. He said it's a tough fight, tough opponent. But he says this is where he wants Tito to be at this stage. Step it up a little. Let's see what he can do.
Well, he's got a big crowd behind him, does Bracero, and he's wound a little tight now, looking to impress. You saw him play to the crowd in the introductions, of course, but he's got to focus on the unbeaten fighter in front of him. It's Bracero in the blue and red, and in the black is Winston Mathis. They both come in undefeated.
And they're fighting their toughest fights of each fighter's life. I'll tell you what's impressive about both. They both have very good amateur backgrounds. Mathis fought in the Junior Olympics, had 205 amateur fights, and Bracero, a New York Daily News Golden Glove champion in both the novice and open division. So excellent amateur background.
No, this is no slam dunk, you know, for a guy with 8 fights. Bracero definitely matched up, and Mathis in with a handful.
Well, Mathis, I expect Mathis to be sort of methodical in his approach, although it looked like he's being aggressive. I expect him to be a bit methodical with his punches. He has Charles the Natural Murray, former junior welterweight champion in his corner, who was very, very intelligent inside the ring. And of course, Tito got Tommy Gallagher, one of the best old school minds in the sport.
And one of the best old school mouths, too.
Yeah. Old man, nice right hand by Bracero. He's been missing with the jab, but the right connected, and Mathis got the worst of that exchange as well. He's just not as fast as Bracero, and it's showing.
I think the difference here would be, like you said, the speed and also the accuracy of punches. All of Mathis' shots are wide. Bracero's throwing straighter shots, and I think that's going to be the difference.
They traded shots there. That right hand by Bracero landing. Good point, Brian, but the left hook a little wild from Mathis. Found a home as well. We see some blood around the right eye of
It's like a cut
Bracero.
on the right eye.
That left hand definitely landed and could have caused it.
But Cheeto was cut 3 fights back. He on Broadway boxing.
Right.
Yeah, he's wiping at the blood now. And again, it's an issue as we close out the first. And Winston Mathis is in the black, and in the blue and red, Gabriel Bracero of Brooklyn.
Nice left hook by Mathis to start the round. But it's just too wide, I think.
Mathis moving left. He's trying to feint his way, create possibly an opening. Both guys a little bit reluctant on the trigger so far. Seconds into this second. Remember, just a scheduled 6-rounder. Both guys with less than 10 fights. They're very early in the career and matched up. We're ringside here at BB King's. Nice right hand from Mathis. Caught a lot of air, not necessarily flush, but at least he's throwing punches and not being held by Bracero.
You guys mentioned maybe Bracero's advantage in hand speed. I don't think that's an advantage. I think Brian was right on when he said that the difference is Mathis throws wide shots, and as a result, Mathis's fast hands are somewhat negated by the wide punches. But I think Mathis has pretty good hand speed.
Now, Mathis has came out throwing overhand rights, looping right hands, which are fine. A few landed, a few have not. But he should focus more on the left hook. It'll still be wide, but focus more on the left hook because the cut is on the right side of Bracero.
Yeah, and neither guy getting on the jab now. Looking to land bigger shots. Out of the flurry, out of the clinch, it was Bracero landing nicely, but it's Mathis coming forward. He's run into some shots, but he's letting his hands go wide once again, missing more than he's connecting.
Nice work by Bracero, though, backing up and throwing combinations. But he's wiping at that cut. It's obviously bothering the blood, obviously going in his eye.
And Tommy Gallagher told me the one thing they're really concentrating on in the gym is vision. Being able to spot and see certain things inside the ring. With a cut like this, wiping away your eyes is going to bother you mentally.
Oh, it's apparent it's bothered him, Brian.
So your concentration that you've been doing the 6 weeks in camp, in the gym, goes out the window.
Mathis with a nice overhand right that lands. He's wild with it, but he got away with it. Mostly single shots. It's a sloppy round, not a lot of connects. There's some caution on both sides, and a referee warning there to Bracero. That blood streaming again, so there'll be work in the corner to be done of Gabriel Bracero. 2 undefeated junior welterweights in a very close, competitive, entertaining fight.
I think that's more than safe to say.
Seems like Bracero's a little more comfortable when they're in close. And they've been in close a little bit more this round than in the previous round. Bracero a little more animated inside, a little more willing to move his hands, move his elbows, move his shoulders.
Good connect from Mathis before the bell, and it gets ugly. All right, we head to round 3. Guys, how do you see the fight tactically from each perspective? Let's look at Steve. Can you look at Mathis for us?
Well, Mathis seems to want to box and use his reach, and he doesn't seem all that comfortable on the inside, so I think it's incumbent upon him to stay on the outside, use his feet, and not let Bracero get in close where Bracero's been more effective.
Brian?
Well, I suggest the opposite. I think Mathis should stay close. I think because when he stays close, he forces Bracero to back out. And he land those looping shots. He catches Bracero on the end of looping shots backing out. So the closer he is to me, the better, because Bracero is going to try to get room and back out.
Bracero's thinking twice. It's very calculated aggression. He seems to want some space here, and it's interesting to see what range this fight will be fought at. It looks like it's become a crucial element here.
See right there. He backed out, and what happened? Mathis landed, not a hard shot, but he landed a little shot.
Yeah, Mathis is real wild. To address Steve's point as well, he's really wasting a lot of velocity by not straightening those shots.
Yeah, he's gotten wilder as the fight's gone on, too. He seemed much more in control in the first round.
That's why you want to stay close. You want your opponent to try to back out and get away from you, and you land those looping shots.
Just seems like Bracero is more comfortable, though, in close. Wrestling and doing what you do on the inside.
And he had his moment or two just taking that step back and fighting, backing up, and here comes the blood again.
Blood is coming down.
It isn't going in the eye that severely, but it is bothersome, you can see, as he's swiping at it.
And that's what Tito should be doing, working the jab, sticking the jab. Don't neglect the body. Stiff jab to the body, to the head, work the jab.
There they are on the inside. Neither one's working.
Nobody's doing
punching.
anything. Good point.
Again, on the inside, Mathis shouldn't be working. Mathis should just be waiting for Bracero to back out and get room.
And if Bracero wants his room, he's got to be working off that jab a little bit more to create that space, it would seem. I like Bracero's work much more in the first round than I do now.
Because in the first round, Bracero worked. He worked as Mathis was getting in. Now he's allowing Mathis to get in, and then he's trying to work.
So he's not dictating.
No.
And the crowd trying to get behind Bracero. Again, two undefeated fighters, both on the line here, those records, of course. It's Gabriel Bracero of Brooklyn. Cleaning up that blue corner as we get ready to start the fourth. A battle of unbeaten junior welterweights. It's Winston Mathis in the black and in the red and blue. Brooklyn's Gabriel Bracero. Nick Charles, Brian Adams, Steve Farhood, ringside at BB Kings. Glad you could be with us. Right hand from Bracero as he moving left here, trying to get on the jab a little bit more. Something he seemed to neglect in the last couple of rounds. Both guys seem to want a little bit of a distance here. Mathis will come in. Bracero chooses to stay outside, but only reluctantly, it seems.
Doesn't seem either fighter is really committed to establishing a jab. Although this round, Bracero's jabbing a lot more.
Right. I'm with you. Boy, that blood, it's been a problem. It's been an issue since the first round for Gabriel Bracero. It's evident. There's no need to point it out. You can see it clearly. They punch together. That's Mathis in the neutral corner. Back to the center of the ring.
What I notice here, Nick, as long as Bracero is busy, he has to keep a heavy pace. As long as he's busy, Mathis does nothing. So it would behoove Bracero to not keep a heavy pace.
Sort of lull the other guy into sleep, you mean?
Yes, yes.
And then, but you got to do enough work to win the round. If you're Bracero.
Well, you take that away from him. As long as you're busy, you take that away from him. Just stay busy. It's right there. Too much time in between shots for you.
Absolutely.
See, when he goes offensive, Mathis does nothing.
Mathis trying to reset, but that sweeping hook because nobody took the lead.
Right. He allowed too much time to pass, so Mathis said, okay, let me punch. Once he's busy, Mathis does nothing. I'm sorry, Steve.
No, I was just going to say also very important for Tito Bracero to finish his combinations with a left hook. He's not always doing it, but that punch puts you back on balance, and it seems to me that that punch is there for him.
And let's face it, 8-0, no knockouts.
There it is, the left hook.
Bracero is not he doesn't punch with a heck of a lot of conviction in terms of any kind of single shot power. And Steve, you mentioned that it's not an issue for him that he's going to press for a knockout. It's just not in his game.
Right. Tito said, he told me earlier today, he said, knockout doesn't bother me. He said, for me, it's about progression. As long as I'm getting better each fight, I don't care about a knockout.
So a mature attitude, but he is 29 years old. He's a mature fighter.
I mean, we've seen a few guys get all the way to the top that way. We go to the 5th. Our first bout of the night on Broadway Boxing, and it's a close one. Every round's been close. Not saying one guy can't have won most of them.
Well, that's the trouble with scoring.
Yeah, it's
You're
a
right, Nick.
competitive fight.
I thought the first and third were particularly close, but I've given Bracero every round.
I gave Bracero the first round. I scored the third round even. I gave Bracero the fourth round. And I gave Mathis the second.
Our cards. Oh, you get okay. So our cards are different then. You're even.
So now we're in the 5th. Okay, let's talk about some adjustments here. We're in the 5th of a 6th rounder. Nobody can really feel confidently. They've got an ironclad safe lead. Nice left hand on the turn from Mathis. So let's talk about some adjustments.
Well, adjustments. It's hard to really adjust if you're either fighter, and I'll tell you why. Because it looks like this is the temperament of Mathis. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to throw looping shots. Don't change that. You can't change that.
Should he get more aggressive?
He should step it up just a bit. But if he step it up too much, he's going to really overshoot a shot. You know, stay on the course that he's on, just like that. Now, Bracero, he came out last round, jabbing, moving, working jabs, stiff jabs. Stay on that attack. Everything behind the jab.
He's getting outworked a little here in this 5th round.
I think the key for Bracero, I agree with Brian, lead with the jab, but finish with the hook.
And look who's southpaw now. It's Mathis. Let's see if he does anything with it. No, he's not aggressive at all. He's the one backing up off the southpaw stance.
To me, that's a small sign of desperation.
And
although
fatigue.
he's back to orthodox now.
Yeah, so he did nothing with it. He fought fatigue too, buying time. You're right.
Now he's just square.
He is. Bracero's no puncher, but he's got to be more of a boxer to win these rounds cleanly. And that means stringing shots together.
Let's keep in mind, Winston Mathis only 2 KOs and 6 wins also.
Right.
Not a big KO record, and he slaps quite a bit.
Right.
You're right, overlook that.
Neither guy's not trying to get a knockout.
No doubt.
And the interesting part, and I told Charles Murray tonight, I said, you got a guy from Rochester. In all his fights, he's been in the South, all in Atlanta or Tunica, Mississippi. Why haven't you fought in New York?
Yeah, I think he's relocated down in the Atlanta area. But you're not going to get quality work there.
No.
Unless you spar with a Vander Holt. He'll spar with anybody.
But when I seen this fight on the card, I knew we were going 6 rounds.
And we've got 1 to go. I agree with you. To the 6th. Winston Mathis in the black. Gabriel Bracero. Bracero in the red and blue. Both undefeated going in. I'm going to be fascinated to take a look at these cards.
Well, Brian and I differ a little bit. I think you have Bracero ahead, but not quite as much as I do.
I have Bracero. I have a score 49-47 for Bracero.
Okay. I thought that 5th was clearly Bracero's based on effective aggressiveness.
Mathis has to get busier, there's no question.
In the way Bracero's boxing, he's clearly showing the maturity and the growth inside the ring that Tommy Gallagher spoke about.
Changing angles, trying to make something happen. Backed up in a neutral corner.
But he's given Mathis an opportunity here. And
I
I'll tell you
agree.
why. He's backing straight out after every exchange. See that? After every combination he throws, every punch he throws, he backs straight out. You don't want to back straight out against a guy who loops shots.
Well, and it's happened repeatedly, and you once again think that Charles Murray in the corner would pick up on that as well.
The punching technique of Mathis has left him. And that fatigue will do that.
There, yes.
But the end of a shot can still be a dangerous punch.
Final round here.
Bracero looked like he's easing off the gas pedal a little. And he should. Then the left hook he was asking about, Steve, it hurt Mathis.
It's been landing all fight. There's another one.
Another one.
Well, that's crucial because this puts the round in the bank so far for Bracero. He's been busier, much more effective fighter in his 6th round. Mathis has to bite down and make something happen fast.
And it looked like early on, the cut, the blood, will bother Tito, and it hasn't.
He's been bleeding all fight.
He's handled it very well. He's also handled an opponent who's given him a little bit more, who stood up to him more than his previous opponents. He's handled him well. I'm very impressed with Bracero tonight.
Agreed. I think he should be happy with this performance. I mean, a few things that he can, work on, and I'm sure Tommy Gallagher will do, like pulling straight back, not really stepping it up when you should. A few, subtle things that comes with experience.
And he's closing out nicely. And Mathis looks fatigued again. He's been hit, nailed cleanly in this round.
Here come the end of the last and final round.
And a fight to the finish. Unbeaten records on the line.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get a nice round of applause out here for both of these fighters. After 6 rounds of action here at BB King's, we go to the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges, Larry Hazard Jr., Julie Letterman, and John McKay, scored this contest identically 59-55, all for your winner by unanimous decision, and still undefeated. From Brooklyn, New York, Gabriel Tito Bracero.